What's up, everyone? This is Tatum. I'm back with another episode of Fuck This Review, where today, I wanted to, before I get into the album that I'm reviewing, I wanted to, just me personally, I wanted to go back and listen to, some great rock music, some great pop music, and just some music that I might have not come across in my, for lack of better words, upbringing. So, I wanted to do a couple fuck these reviews on some classic rock and pop albums. So I've been digging and trying to listen to the best of the best. And if you have any suggestions as well of a classic rock album that's great to you but also great to the masses, because I don't want to listen to just your personal favorite bad albums, like the best of the best rock album. So I created this list, so you'll be seeing them in the weeks coming. But today I wanted to do a review on ACDC's Back in Black. I've heard about this album my whole life, but I never listened to it at all. ACDC as well. This is the first time I listened to an ACDC album. First time I listened to ACDC besides the stuff that I hear in movies and just passing. And yeah, so I wanted to just go through it a bit. Talk about things I like, some of the highlights, and things of that nature. Now, before we get started, be sure to hit that like, subscribe button. Get ready to leave your comments. I might piss some people off sometimes. Also, before we get into it, I'm not going to be doing playing reaction and playing this song and reacting to it, just so you know at this moment, so you can leave right now. This is more of an analysis and deep dive on records and more thought about things and not fake reaction. So just had to give you the warning before you listen. All right. ACDC's Back in Black came out in 1980. It was their seventh album, one of their most successful albums. One of the things that gets me about old rock bands and old pop acts back in the day is a lot of them reached their best album when it was their eighth album, seventh album, their latter albums. And I don't think artists get that chance anymore. If you don't hit off your first or second, maybe times people don't even reach their third, you're kind of out of here. You don't really get a chance to grow. So it's one thing I noticed while going back and listening to some of these classic albums is that wow, a lot of these albums that's considered masterpieces and things that in nature is the artist's eighth album or seventh album or ninth album is later in their career, which I think is just amazing. If you look at it the way I look at it, that's just amazing. This album was the band's first album without their frontman, Bon Scott, who died a couple months earlier from alcohol poisoning. So they had Brian Johnson step in as the new frontman and lead singer of the band, which is I have to, like I said, this is my first ACDC album. I'm not sure if original ACDC fans felt the way when he stepped in or still feel the way about it. But to me, just coming in and just my first experience, I think his voice is pretty dope and amazing. So let's get into it. I don't want to waste too much of your time. The album starts with Hell's Bell, and I read somewhere, I'm not sure how true this is, commemorative song towards their fallen member, but I'm not sure if that's true or how true that is. If you let me know in the comments, but I don't think this is a good kind of song for that, but I think it was a great intro. It lets me know, like I said, my first time listening to ACDC, so it lets me know what this band was all about. It's just exciting opener. Brian's vocals just pierce through and they cut through over these instruments, and it was something I enjoyed. It starts with this slow build up, and I'm listening to it. I'm like, all right, where we going with this? And it comes into this. It transforms into this great rock and roll record that it sounds like it goes off at a concert. I could tell this is one of the songs. A lot of songs on here sound like they just ring off at concerts, but I think it's one of those songs that probably just sounds amazing at shows because it sounded amazing as an intro. So I was this. I could see people. I could hear the people singing this in the stadiums and things of that nature. and it has that call and response hook that I think is just a lot of great rock bands had back in the day. And when songs have that, they're just great. I love a great call and response. Shoot the Thrill, and again, I think his vocals are just amazing over the instruments. And he explained the lyrics. It was said that, like, Brian recalled reading a British article about a neighborhood pusher who made daily rounds almost like a milkman throughout London suburbs selling narcotics to bored, lonely, depressed housewives. And that was like his inspiration for the record. But to me, listening to it, it has like this sexual vibe and feel to it. Like it's like a metaphor for a gun and trigger, for, you know what, like we heard those kind of metaphors before. Also, I love that breakdown that comes in around 3:25. It just adds another layer to the song. It kind of gives it like this softening of the blow, kind of like it calms it down for me. And I think I love when music is like all hype and up tempo, and then it's like you hit a wall like a crash, and then it's like you're floating in the air, like just slow, like a happy kind of dream-like kind of sound to me. That's what I got from it. But all in all, I love the energy of that record. Just from the first three records, I could tell they're a very energetic band. Like, this is like rock and roll in 1980. It's very like, it's just hard rock to me. Like this is what I think rock and roll sounds like. It's like the, I wouldn't say typical. That's the wrong word. Typical makes it sound bad, but it sounds like what rock and roll is supposed to sound like. What I envision rock and roll, this is what rock and roll sounds like. To go into what you do for money, honey. And to me, that song is just about, for lack of better words, I would say like a man eater, more maybe prostitute kind of thing, or maybe just a woman who works, who uses what she have to get what she wants. And this time I can't really, I don't know. And then listening back to it, like in 2021, to me it's like, dang, why you care so much about how she making her money? It's like, honey, what you do for money? I can see if it was just that hook, but then he goes in the verse and it's like, man, I was shooting my shot and you ain't paying no attention to me, kind of stuff. Like, it's like, well, step your game up. But then, you know, I guess like her tricks turn cold as like she been playing the game so long. That's what made me think it was more like a man eater kind of sex worker kind of thing. He's like, he describes like your old tricks not working anymore kind of thing, and things of that nature. But still, I was like, why you care how she make her money? let that woman make her money, man. Cool record though. That guitar solo, I give that 2 thumbs up. If I wasn't holding my iPad, hold on, 2 thumbs up. I love that guitar solo on there. Give a Dog a Bone, for lack of better words, is literally just about oral sex. It's literally about that. He says, she takes you down easy, going down to her knees, going down to the devil, down, down, down to 90 degrees. She blowing me crazy to my ammunition is dry. I was like, Jesus Christ. I was listening to it, and it's not the only song, but he has some lines on here where they have some lines on here that I was just thinking like, how is it not a parental advisory sticker on here? Like the innuendos that they have on this album is like kind of crazy. That me being like a kid of hip hop and everything, you know, everything we have pretty much is a parental advisory sticker, but the subject matters and the things they're talking about on here definitely deserves a parental advisory sticker. And I'm pretty sure it wasn't old people listening to ACDC in 1980. I'm pretty sure it was kids and teenagers listening to ACDC at the time. I'm like, what the hell was that parental advisory sticker? This is crazy. Like, nothing bad, but it's just like, she takes me down easy, going down to her knees, going down to the devil, down, 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 90 degrees. She blowing me crazy till my ammunition is dry. That ain't even like a metaphor. That's just that's just as straightforward as it could get, pretty much. That song's cool. I was just thinking about it as just like, at this point in 2021, I kind of heard like every metaphor there could be for sex. Like, giving a dog a bone is kind of, I kind of get it from that to the gun trigger kind of reference and everything like that. I kind of pretty much heard it all. I'm kind of like desensitized and tainted by that by now. Doesn't take anything away from the song, but just listening to it for the first time in 2021 is kind of just the thoughts that ran through my mind. Again, it's a lot of, when I listened to that song, I was like, it's a lot of fucking sexual references on this album. Like, it don't stop. They just keep coming and come. Pause. They just keep happening and happening. But again, the it's high energy. It's like, I can't, like, again, it's just like what I envision rock and roll is. Like, if you're a fucking rock star, you're gonna make songs about sex. You're gonna make songs about just being in a powerful position and not giving a fuck what people think. But let me put my love into you. You could probably guess what that song's about just by the title. Also, kind of questionable lyrics in 2021. He says in there, now don't you struggle, don't you fight, don't you worry, because it's your turn tonight. You can't say that. Where was the parental advisory sticker? I was just listening to it. I was like, whoa, calm down, man. Calm down, brain. That song flows into the title track of the album, which is Back in Black. And when it came on, I was like, oh, I've been hearing this song my whole life. Like, this is a song I hear in TV commercials, movies, cars, everywhere my whole life. Just that opening guitar riff that burn. I probably heard it in the 87 Super Bowl beer commercials. But that, as soon as I heard that, I was like, oh yeah, I know this song. Like, yeah, it struck in there. I was like, oh yeah, this is a cool record. Probably one of my favorites, like, so far during the whole album. That opening guitar riff again, it's just amazing and timeless at this point. Brian Johnson recalled he did a interview with Mojo Magazine in 2009 when they asked him, the band told him to write lyrics for the song, and he said they said it couldn't be morbid, but it has to be a song about Bond, which is like their passing former band member, and it has to be a celebration in a way. He added, I thought, well, no pressure there. And then, like, last, he said, so I just wrote to what came to my head, and which at the time seems like mumbo jumbo, non-live cat eyes, abusing every one of them and running wild. The boys got it though, and they saw his life within those lyrics, which I thought was dope. Like, I think that's better and more, like, because that song really is a testament to, like, I can't keep stressing it, but just that rock and roll shit. Like, I love when rock and roll sounds like rock and roll. I love when genre's just supposed to sound like what the genre is, like, and just go in that direction. And to me, it kind of sounds like he's rapping on there, like toward, I think it's the last verse maybe. He said, I'm back on the track and I'm beating the flack. Nobody's gonna give me another rap. So look at me now. I'm just making my play. Don't try to push your luck. Just get out my way. And the way he says it is like in his, obviously his voice is amazing, but it's like in his rap flow kind of way. And I was like, hey, he's rapping. He's rapping. Like, you get, like, I don't know if you guys noticed that, but for me, when I know when somebody's rapping, like, he's rapping on that record. But again, great record, classic record. It's not much I could say about that song that hasn't been said before, because it's Back in Black. Like, that. That's all I could. Burn. You Shook Me All Night Long. Another one of those records I've been hearing my whole life without knowing. And Brian also told Howard Stern that song was the first one he wrote after becoming the band's new leader. Again, there's a lot of sexual references on this record. She was a fast machine. She kept her motor clean. She was the best damn woman that I ever seen. Slightless eyes, telling me no lies, knocking me out with those American thighs, taking more than her share, had me fighting for air. She told me to come, but I was already there. I was like, hey, come on, man. Where's the parental advisory sticker in this? But I was like, okay. And I heard it was like some, I didn't go much into it, but a backstory of like, I wouldn't say they were getting sued or something, but somebody like said that he didn't write it. And, you know, it was a bunch of people coming out and said like one of his old girlfriends was like, yeah, he definitely wrote that. He wrote it in my house. I remember when he wrote it and said it. And another person was talking about the line with the American thighs and how he wrote for like who they thought their music would reach. So it was just a bunch of, I guess, legal technicalities with that record. But I guess nothing ever really came about with it because still here and things of that nature. Have a Drink on Me. To me, that's just like a forgetting life kind of record. Like, forget all the bullshit that's going on in your life right now. Let's have a drink on me. It sounds like something your friends would do, or when you down and out or whatever, and you go out with your friends. That sounds like the perfect song to come on when y'all are like shot for, and like another one. Let's just have another one. And that one, I respect that record. It's also one I think is a tribute to the former band member. Not to say because he passed away from alcohol poisoning. It just sounds like something that, from what I read, that he would probably say in a way, like, and that was like to me it sounds like a commemoration to him. Like, I don't know, I could be wrong, but that's what I felt more about that one than Hell's Bells. Shake a Leg, that's just a badass song to me. Doing what you want, no matter what others may think or what the outcome may be. It's a line in there, but I'm gonna save it for my best line. I was gonna say I fuck with that song a lot, but I like that song a lot. Out of the ones I've been hearing, that was one of the ones that stood out to me, and I was like, I really like this song. I could see myself going back and listening to this. Then the last song, Rock and Roll, Ain't Noise Pollution, and I appreciate this record. It's not one of the best records on here, but I appreciate the record because to me, it reminds me a lot of hip hop, right? Like how older people hated it and some still hate it, and even some people who like ACDC, Back in Black, probably hate hip hop. But I think the message in that song is what hip hop stands for as well. Like, it's people who are being scared of the expression, and like rock and roll is too loud. It's blah blah blah. It's this. It's that. It's that. It caused this ruckus. It all this negative stuff that people could point out that happens in rock and roll. I think they did the same thing with hip hop. And no matter what you do or feel, it ain't never gonna die. It's here to stay, and you could just have to live with it or toot your nose up at it and things of that nature. So I appreciate that record just for that, because I related to it just from the connection I think I have with hip hop, and the way he felt about rock and rolls, the way I felt about hip hop. So, it's funny how things like that can like relate people together, like, and bring people together. Like, hey, you feel the way? Well, I hate the system too. Fuck them. Let me get into my best songs. I'm gonna go with Back in Black, Shake a Leg, and Shoot the Thrill. Worst song, I'm gonna give it to Giving the Dog a Bone. I just heard so many songs like that. I'm kind of jaded to it at this point in 2021. Best line, he says, magazines, wet dreams, dirty women on machines for me. Big licks, skin flicks, tricky dicks are my chemistry. Going against the grain, trying to keep it sane with you. So stop grinning and drop your linen for me. This guy's spitting. Again, a lot of the way that Brian sung his vocals, it reminds me a lot of just that brandish hip hop stuff. Like, I think it gives that kind of feel to me, and you feel the way you feel. This is how I felt my first time listening to it. If I had to give it a rating on a fucks given system, I'm gonna give it a 3.5 out of 5. I'm gonna give it a 3.5 out of 5. In closing, though, what I enjoyed about this record, the times I listened to it, because I didn't just listen to it once, I ran it back a couple times. The one thing I really loved about this album is the energy. Like, it was no drop in energy of this. It's like, again, I think it's like what I think classic rock and roll sounds in my head. This is what I think it sounds like, just from a sound wise. Another thing I really enjoyed about it was just Brian Johnson's vocals. Like, I think his vocals are just dope and amazing over this production, and I think he was a great, like, again, this is my first ACDC album. I don't know what the Bond lyric voice was, but he said he was a great fit for this band and group. So I think he was a perfect match, and his voice really carried the album for me. If I could say a bad thing about it, it's very repetitive. Like, the sound, a lot of the songs sound similar. Like, I feel like I heard one or two songs over already by the time I got to the end of it. Like, it was very, very cohesive, but very just the same line. Like, it stayed like this the whole time. Like, the sounds are very similar. Some of the subject matter is just all the same. Not all the same, but a lot of the subject matter is very like sexual driven. And I know it's rock stars and rock and roll, and that was pretty much what rock and roll was about for the most part. Not for the most part, but that was a big part of rock and roll. But it kind of got tiring towards the end, just of, I don't know, the same kind of subject matter, the same type of beats. It was just the same for a lot of the record. But I'm pretty sure this album sounds great live. Like, I'm pretty sure when they perform like the highs from this record live, it goes off completely. So that's all I can really say about it. Is this one of your favorite ACDC albums? Is there another ACDC album I should check out that's you consider maybe better than this? Let's talk about it in the comments. Don't forget to hit that like button. Subscribe if you want. Let's just discuss it. Where were you when this album dropped? What does this album mean to you? Am I being too harsh? What didn't I understand? What did I get right or understand? Let's just talk about it. So, but as always, fuck this review. I'm Tatum. Peace.